Hey, I'm Molle Dorst, Forest Therapy Guide and founder of the Forest Bathing Society. Today, I want to talk about Leave No Trace, or LNT, the gold standard of outdoor ethics. If you enjoy hiking, camping, or any time in nature, understanding Leave No Trace will help you love the outdoors responsibly. After all, enjoying nature's beauty goes hand in hand with protecting it for others. In this video, we'll cover a bit of LNT history, explain its 7 core principles, and look at good versus bad camping examples from Canada and the US. And we'll see how groups like Outward Bound, the Scouts, and park rangers promote these ethics. So let's dive in. Where did Leave No Trace come from? The idea of not leaving any trace on the land has been around for decades, if not generations. By the 1970s, people worried that our wilderness was being loved to death by increasing number of visitors. Land managers realized rules alone were not enough. We needed education. In the 1980s, the U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, and Bureau of Land Management began teaching no-trace camping guidelines. They even published a 1987 pamphlet called Leave No Trace Land Ethics. The movement really solidified in the 1990s. In 1994, the nonprofit Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics was established in Boulder, Colorado, and it formalized the framework into 7 principles we know today. Since then, LNT has spread across North America and beyond, with Canada forming Leave No Trace Canada in 2005 to promote these practices nationwide. The message is simple. We owe it to nature to minimize our impact. The 7 Leave No Trace principles. Now let's walk through the 7 core LNT principles and how to apply them. Each principle might sound simple, but together they cover pretty much every way you can care for nature during your adventures. Number 1, plan ahead and prepare. Good trips start with good planning. Plan ahead and prepare means being ready for the environment you're going to visit and making choices that reduce impact. Check the regulations or special concerns for the park or trail that you're heading to. For example, the fire bans, permit requirements, bear safety rules. Pack the right gear and enough supplies so you won't be caught in an emergency or forced to do something harmful like cutting live branches to make your shelter. Prepare for extreme weather or hazards and have a backup plan. For example, in Canada's Rouge National Urban Park, visitors are told that planning ahead avoids making choices that can negatively impact the land and waters of the park. Travel in small groups if possible and schedule your trip to avoid times of overcrowding. That way you won't strain the trails or campsites during peak use. By planning well, you're less likely to get into situations where you might damage the environment. As the Scouts say, proper planning leads to safer, more enjoyable adventures with minimal impact. Second thing is to travel and camp on durable surfaces. When you're out in nature, where you walk or set up camp makes a huge difference. Travel and camp on durable surfaces means sticking to established trails and campsites whenever you can. Durable surfaces include things like rock and gravel and sand or dry grass, surfaces that can take a little bit of a beating without much harm. But if you wander off trail onto soft soil or delicate plants, you can trample the vegetation and cause erosion that might take years to heal. In popular areas, concentrate your use on the paths and campsites that already exist. You don't need to create new ones. For example, at Sunshine Meadows in Banff, Alberta, signs remind hikers to stay on the boardwalk to avoid crushing fragile alpine flowers. In pristine or less traveled areas, it's a bit different. There, you should disperse your travel and campsite so you don't create a new beaten path or a permanent campsite. Always set up camp at least 200 feet or 70 big steps from lakes and streams to protect the banks and water quality. A good campsite is found, not made. You shouldn't have to clear anything or dig trenches. By sticking to durable ground and established sites, we avoid damaging the living soil and plants. Think of it this way. Walk on a rock or a trail, not the meadow. The meadow will thank you. Third is to dispose of waste properly. This one is huge. Disposing of your waste properly, often summed up as pack in, pack out. Whatever you bring into the wilderness, be prepared to carry it back out. It means all of your trash, your leftover food, and your litter, everything. You'd be surprised how even things like orange peels or nutshells stick around for a real long time. And no, they don't magically just disappear overnight. Before you leave a campsite or a rest spot, inspect the area for any trash or spilled foods and pick it up. And yes, that includes tiny stuff like breadcrumbs, fruit peels, etc. The animals will find them. And remember, specially processed food is not naturally in these animals' environment. It's not naturally part of their diet. Other foods that don't grow natively in that area are, again, not supposed to be part of the diet of those animals. So by introducing those, we're having an impact on the environment around us. Disposing of waste also means dealing with human waste properly. If there's an outhouse or toilet, use it. If not, you'll need to dig a cat hole 6 to 8 inches deep, at least 200 feet away from water, camp, and trails. You're going to have to bury your poop. It is not glamorous, my friends, but it's necessary. Pack out all of your toilet paper and your hygiene products because the animals will dig those up if you bury them, and nobody wants to see used TP blowing in the wind. For washing your dishes or washing yourself, use biodegradable soap sparingly and do it 200 feet from any water sources. Then scatter your strained dishwasher. The goal is to leave no smelly stuff that could attract wildlife or could harm your waterways. Litter isn't just ugly, it can be deadly for animals. Bits of food or wrappers left behind may attract animals, causing them to associate campsites with an easy meal. As one park ranger bluntly put it, your garbage kills wildlife. Improperly disposed food or trash can lure animals like raccoons and foxes or even bears onto a campsite, putting both you and the animals at risk. The kindest thing you can do for nature is to leave no garbage behind. Challenge yourself to pack out all of your trash, even if that tiny wrapper or bottle cap you found on the trail. A good camper leaves a place cleaner than they found it. Hey, what's the worst piece of trash or evidence of carelessness you've ever come across on a hike or a camping trip? A littered campsite, graffiti on a rock, giant fire scar? Share your story in the comments. I'm curious to see what you've seen. Number 4 is to leave what you find. Have you ever been tempted to pick a wildflower, pocket a cool rock, carve your name into a tree? Leave what you find urges us to resist that urge. The outdoors is not a souvenir shop, it's a living museum. Take photos or memories and leave natural objects and cultural artifacts where they are. Removing rocks, fossils, antlers, or other historic items might seem harmless, but imagine if every visitor took something. Soon there'd be nothing left to discover. In many parks, both in the US and Canada, it's actually illegal to remove or to disturb such things. For instance, Parks Canada asks visitors to leave areas exactly as you found them, whether it's flowers, shells, or even driftwood. That also means don't build new structures or furnitures in the wild. No digging trenches around your tent, cutting boughs for bedding, or making log benches. Altering sites can damage ecosystems and spoil the next person's sense of wilderness. A great example of doing this right is when hikers find a beautiful viewpoint and then depart without a trace that they were there. No cairns, no scratched initials on the rocks, nothing. It ensures that those who come next can appreciate that same untouched beauty. So leave the wild exactly as it is, unspoiled and wild. And if you truly love that pretty pine cone or that interesting rock, well, take a picture or sketch it and leave the real thing behind for others in the forest to enjoy. Number 5 is minimizing campfire impacts. There's nothing like a campfire under the stars. It's a beloved outdoor tradition, but fires can also cause lasting damage if not handled carefully. Minimizing campfire impacts means think twice about when and how you build your fire. First off, know if fires are even allowed where you are, because some places or in some seasons, there are complete fire bans or restrictions due to wildfire risks. If fires are permitted, use established fire rings or fireplaces that are already available. Don't create a new scar on the ground if you can avoid it. A great low-impact method is using a fire pan or a fire blanket, essentially a portable metal pan or fireproof cloth that lets you have a fire on the ground containing all of the ashes and leaving no burn mark behind. If you do build a fire on the ground, keep it small, just big enough for your needs. Use only downed dead wood, like sticks you can break by hand, no chopping live trees. Once you're done, burn all the wood completely to ash if possible. Drown the fire with water, stir it around, and feel that it's cold. It's completely cold. Then scatter the cold ashes widely. Never, ever, ever leave a fire until it's completely and totally out. Many devastating wildfires have started from campers thinking a fire was out when it actually wasn't. By minimizing campfire impacts or even foregoing a fire when conditions are risky, you're protecting the forest in a big way. Consider enjoying the stars, or use a small camp stove or a lantern or candles for ambiance instead. In short, keep your fires small, safe, and only when appropriate. When in doubt, skip the fire and enjoy the night sky instead. Plus, you'll see more stars without the firelight. I promise. Principle number 6 is to respect wildlife. One of the best parts of being outdoors is encountering wildlife. Birds, deer, maybe fox, or even some places that have bears or moose. Respecting wildlife means we observe animals on their terms without disturbing them. Always watch for animals from a safe distance. Use binoculars or a zoom lens for a closer look, but don't follow or approach or stalk them. Getting too close can stress out the animal or provoke dangerous behavior. It's important to never feed wild animals, even if those cheeky chipmunks are birds that might beg for crumbs. Feeding wildlife harms them. It can make them sick. It can disrupt their natural feeding habits. It can cause them to become habituated to humans, losing their natural fear. Habituated animals often end up in trouble. They might become aggressive or keep coming to human areas, which can lead park authorities to remove or even have to euthanize them. There's a well-known saying, a fed bear is a dead bear. Rangers use this to warn that a bear who learns to seek out human food usually meets an untimely end. Sadly, it's true. For example, 4 black bears had to be killed in one part of Alberta after they became food conditioned to garbage and they lost their fear of people. So how do we respect wildlife? Well, give animals plenty of space. If they change their behavior because of you, you're too close. Store your food and your trash securely in bear-proof containers or hung up so animals can't get to it. Keep your campsite clean, tying back to that waste principle, so you're not tempting critters in. And if you bring a dog, keep it leashed and under control at all times, or consider leaving pets at home entirely, since dogs, they can disturb wildlife and puts themselves in danger as well. Also, be mindful of wildlife-sensitive times. For example, avoid disturbing animals during mating seasons, nesting seasons, or when they have their young. In short, observe wildlife with quiet respect. It's a privilege to see wild animals, and our goal is to ensure our presence doesn't harm them or alter their natural behavior. Respecting wildlife is not just good for the animals, it's crucial for our safety too. And principle number 7 is to be considerate of others. This final principle is all about the golden rule of the outdoors, being considerate to other visitors. We're often sharing parks and trails with other people who can also seek peace and enjoyment in nature. And by practicing good manners, courtesy outdoors, we make everyone's experience better. Simple things make a big difference. keeping noise levels down. Let nature's sound prevail. Nobody came to the woods to hear loud music or shouting. Yield to others on the trail. For example, hikers coming uphill have the right of way, and cyclists should yield to hikers. If you meet horseback riders or pack stock on the trail, step off on the downhill side and give them space. When camping, set up your tent at a reasonable distance from other campers and avoid trampling through someone else's campsite. If you're in a backcountry area, choose a spot out of sight and sound of others so that everyone can feel a little bit of wilderness and solitude. At rest stops or viewpoints, share the space and maybe take turns if it's crowded, so that everyone gets a chance to soak in that view. Basically, be the kind of outdoor neighbor that you would want to have. Being considerate also means following local rules that keep things orderly, like observing quiet hours in campgrounds and keeping your group size appropriate and controlling your pets. In North America, many parks have posted etiquette guidelines. For instance, at trailheads in Ontario's parks, you might see reminders to yield, keep dogs leashed, and not to block the trail. Little acts of courtesy go a long way. Remember, we're all out there to enjoy nature. By being considerate, whether it's by not shining your flashlight into the next tent or carrying out all of your trash so that the next person doesn't have to find your mess, you ensure that everyone, including you, has a great experience. Loving nature means caring about the other people enjoying it, keeping Leave No Trace ethics alive. The Leave No Trace principles aren't just words on paper. They've become a movement and a community ethos. Many organizations promote LNT ethics, helping new generations of outdoor enthusiasts learn how to care for nature. For example, Outward Bound, an outdoor education program, has embraced LNT from the very beginning. In fact, many early low-impact camping guidelines used in the U.S. Forest Service and Park Service actually originated from Outward Bound instructor manuals. Today, every Outward Bound student is trained in Leave No Trace skills and ethics. They learn to see themselves as stewards of the environment, taking personal responsibility for keeping the wilderness healthy and beautiful. The Scouts, both Scouts Canada and the BSA in the United States, have also made Leave No Trace a core part of their outdoor training. Scouting has incorporated LNT at all levels of its program, using it to instill respect and appreciation for nature in youth. It's common for Scout troops to do service projects like trail cleanups or to have the motto, "Leave the campsite better than you found it." The culture of care here really enforces that outdoor fun and outdoor ethics go hand in hand. Park services and rangers are on the front lines of spreading LNT as well. Parks Canada and the U.S. National Park Service and provincial and state parks put up signage, they offer workshops, and they include LNT messaging in brochures and guided walks. You've probably seen those signs at trailheads or campgrounds reminding you to pack out your trash, keep wildlife wild, and stay on trails, etc., etc. Rangers often lead by example. You might see them dismantling an illegal fire ring or picking up litter left by others. Many parks have volunteer programs where hikers help report or rehabilitate impacts. Organizations like Leave No Trace Center for Outdoor Ethics, the official LNT nonprofit partner with parks, schools, and outdoor clubs to run awareness campaigns and trainer courses. There are even LNT Master Educator courses that you can take if you want to teach others. The idea is that every one of us can be an ambassador for nature. By following and sharing these principles, we collectively reduce impact. It's inspiring to know that so many groups, from youth programs like Scouts to outdoor clubs and guide services, promote the same message for caring for the earth. The more people hear it, the more it becomes just how we do things outside. At the end of the day, Leave No Trace is about common sense and kindness to the environment and to each other. It's a philosophy of stewardship. We love these wild places, so we take responsibility for them. And as the saying goes, take only pictures, leave only footprints. And I'll add, try to leave even fewer footprints if you can. Which leave no trace principle do you find the most challenging to practice, and why? Let me know in the comments. It's important to acknowledge our challenges too. We're all learning and improving our outdoor habits. Maybe you struggle with packing out food scraps, or you find it hard to resist picking up pretty rocks. Share below and we can help each other with tips and tools. By now, we've seen that loving the outdoors means taking responsibility for it. When we plan well, we tread lightly, we clean up after ourselves, we respect the plants, the animals, and the other people. We ensure that the forests, the mountains, and the lakes we love will stay healthy and magical for generations to come. The leave no trace principles are not about strict rules to limit fun. They're about maximizing the joy of nature for everyone, for all time. Each of us has the power to make a difference every single time we go outside, even in small ways like picking up a piece of litter or staying on that boardwalk in a fragile meadow. I hope this has been helpful and a friendly reminder of how we can give back to the places that give us so much peace and happiness. And if you're in the York Region area of Ontario, Canada, I have a special invitation for you. Come join Project Rewild and the Forest Bathing Society for an in-person forest bathing session. This is a chance to practice mindfulness in nature, and yes, we always leave no trace on our walks. It's a wonderful way to deepen your connection to the earth. Check out the sign-up link in the description below. I would love to meet you and share a tranquil forest experience together. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you think would enjoy it, and consider subscribing for more outdoor tips and nature inspiration. Of course, I would love to hear from you, so drop a comment about your own leave no trace tips and experiences. Let's learn from each other and keep this planet beautiful. Until next time, happy trails and leave no trace. I'll see you in the forest, everyone.